question, would you give up your friends and family and everything you know for a one-way ticket to Mars?
Definitely.
The red planet is 56 million kilometres from Earth. It's toxic, has sub-zero temperatures and takes 150 to 300 days to get there. Mars One is on an epic mission to have humans living on the red planet by 2023. But who will go? Well, over 200,000 applicants have already put their hands up for this one-way trip to life on Mars.
Now, can you believe the list is down to just 700 finalists? Let's meet 4 Aussies who are on it, along with one of the men behind the Mars One project, Norbert Kraft. Hello, Norbert.
Hi.
Also, a very big hello to Diane from Melbourne. We've got Josh from Perth.
Good morning.
Jake from Sydney.
Morning.
And Nicola from Brisbane.
Hello.
Alrighty. Let's start with you, Norbert, first. Thanks for being with us. Why life on Mars?
Thanks for having me. And in autumn 2024, we will send 4 astronauts to the planet Mars, and differently from the human history, they will not just visit Mars. They will settle there. It will be a permanent settlement, and they will spend the rest of their life, but they will build, and what is so exciting, they will build a society there which will grow and will in the future, this is the future goal, will be independent society on Mars. So how does it work? So we will send them in a rocket, and the flight will take about 6-7 months.
Wow.
And there is danger involved, of course. So you have to see you're in this rocket and there's solar flares and radiation, but they will have a radiation shelter, which is a far smaller space where they can spend the time when they have huge radiation flares. Then they will arrive on Mars, and what happened there is there will be already habitats for them, and these habitats, there will be 2 of them. There will be 100 square meter approximately each living space, and there will be water, and there will be already oxygen on Mars in these habitats, otherwise they wouldn't leave Earth at all.
So this is basically setting up, sorry to interrupt, Norbert, this is basically setting up a whole new population on Mars, and there's some pretty ordinary, everyday people in the running for this. Diane, we might bring you in. Why did you apply? I mean, what's your background and what do you have to bring to Mars? What are your qualities?
Gosh, I applied because I thought it was the ultimate adventure. I thought it was an incredible opportunity. I was born the day before Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon, and so I remember as a kid growing up and seeing some of those lunar landing images, and it was incredibly inspirational as a child. And I thought, how amazing would it be to be one of those people who could inspire the next generation of young girls who wanted to do something amazing. My own history, I've got a few university degrees, and my personal interest is in sustainability. And so for me, as well as a great adventure, some of this is all about how can we as a society learn to live much more sustainably and think about our impact on our natural world, whether that be here on Earth or in Mars.
It is really quite extraordinary. Josh, we might chat to you now. You gave up your potential, to be with the love of your life to possibly have this chance to go to Mars.
Yeah, I suppose about 18 months ago when I first got involved with Mars One, I was seeing someone at the time. I was living in the UK, and I essentially had to make the decision as to whether or not to continue the relationship or commit wholly and solely to Mars One. And I knew that I could do more for Mars One coming back. Always bring up the koala.
Why couldn't you do both?
I was working as a comic.
And Diane,
you need funny people on Mars as well. We're not judging you at all.
we should send Joe.
That's the plan.
Diane, I think you also, we've chatted before on the radio, you also have a partner. How do you actually have a conversation where you say, you know, honey, look, got some news. I'm going to Mars. Won't be back for the rest of my life. But it's not you, it's me. Like, how do you actually have that conversation?
Well, as you know, Joe, I signed up before I actually told my partner. I got home and signed up, did the video, and then said, oh, when they got home, I told them that I'd signed up, and they're like, oh, OK. Fantastic. Off you go. I support you completely.
Wow.
Really?
But it wasn't... Yes, indeed. Completely supportive, but she was not surprised in the least.
Jake, you're only 19. What's drawn you to this challenge, and what do your parents think?
Well, when my parents found out that I was planning on doing it, they laughed at first, but yeah, they then decided that, you know, it's something that I want to do. My mum's still very fearful for me, but they're supportive enough.
Apparently Mars is a bit like Adelaide, so you should be all right.
We're just looking at you with your parents now. Gee, it is a big risk, though, 7 months in the shuttle, all the way out there. We have to take a very quick break, but we're going to chat with the Aussies who've been shortlisted for that one-way trip to Mars. After the break, you are watching Studio 10. Don't go anywhere. Well, before the break, we met some of the Aussies who are all vying for the chance to be amongst the first human colony to live on Mars. There they all are now, I should say. We have Diane in Melbourne, Josh from Perth, Jake from Sydney, Nicola from Brisbane, and also the Mars One project organiser, Norbert Kraft. Let's go to you, Nicola. What are you expecting life on Mars to be like?
Well, it's not all going to be roses, I guess. It's not going to be going out in your Mars suit. Will be a little bit different to going out for a breath of fresh air. But it's going to be, I suppose there's going to be a serious job of work to do, and there's going to be collecting data and plant propagation and establishing the base. And then there's going to be downtime where you can email family and friends. And I think apparently you have to do something like 3 hours of exercise a day, I've heard. So that will be challenging to counteract the effects of life on Mars.
Will they have standing desks, Nicola?
Well, they should do, shouldn't they? Really.
Nicola, have you actually thought about the fact that you will leave behind your friends and your family, you will never ever see them again, you will never ever feel air on your face again, you will die on Mars?
Yeah. I'll be the first person to die on Mars, probably.
Have you already decided?
I think, well, I'm sort of be getting on in years by the time I get up there. I will miss oxygen, it's true. That's that fresh oxygen, naturally produced oxygen.
If I went, I think I'd miss The Bachelor, I think.
Norbert, you've spoken to us about how this is going to create the first human colony on Mars. Are you expecting the people that get selected to procreate? I mean, is that what you see? A life being created as well on Mars?
It will happen over time, but as I spoke with the applicants too, and they understand this very well, that the first ones will definitely not procreate immediately when they arrive on Mars. You have to imagine there are 4 people that try to survive, to try to grow plants, and how it's working, and a little toddler running around between them. So that's not what we will do. After a while, we will take animals to Mars and see how the procreation is working, what difficulties we encounter, and learning from this experience, later on we will definitely have procreation on Mars, but it will be far out.
No, but it just sounds extraordinary. How realistic is it? I mean, how difficult is it going to be to set up a colony and have all those sorts of facilities to enable these people here that we're seeing on the screen to actually live on Mars and survive?
So there are 2 parts to it. So the one part is difficult is to have the finances. We work on that. The technical part, it is possible. We can do it, and we have the contacts with Lockheed Martin and Paragon and other companies. And then the human part, which is my major, actually, that's where I'm responsible for, is it is not easy to live in this enclosed environment and just go out with spacesuits. So we train them for 10 years, and their technical skills, survival. And it's not like in NASA, after 2 years, you're an astronaut. In our cases, you can be selected out at any point until you really fly to Mars. So we are really taking it very seriously, and we will put them through challenges, and whatever we can come up, what might happen or never happen on Mars, just to see if they can do it, how they overcome it, what do they do, to work as a team, and to be the best team at independent. So we want to send to Mars mature people, not just sheep who are doing what we tell them. They have to be mature because they have to do it by themselves. That's the key.
It is a fascinating story. Norbert, thank you very much for joining us, and also to all of the finalists. Best of luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you would like to find out more about life on Mars, you can check out www.mars-1.com. Apparently they can't procreate until they start building Mars bars for people to meet you.